Dogs and cats living together. Vegetarian. Wow! Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig
it? Hey guys, welcome back to the Lucid Nightmare. I'm your host as always, Jay Schatzer, and today I've got a fantastically fun fantasy flick lined up for us. It is Kevin Conner's 1978 class act flick. It is Warlords of Atlantis. And guys, this is a fantasy adventure that you will not want to miss. So let's dive right in. Here is Warlords of Atlantis. Warlords of Atlantis is a fun little fantasy flick that features Doug McClure doing what Doug McClure does best, and that's fighting giant monsters while exploring wild and untamed new worlds. Centered on a lost civilization that lies underneath the Atlantic Ocean, the film delves right into the madness and chaos that comes with such savage territory, showcasing a wild array of terrifying creatures that the filmmakers thrill in throwing at the audience in frequent succession. For a fun-filled fantasy romp, look no further than this obscure entry, because Warlords of Atlantis is an interesting journey into the uncharted bowels of planet Earth. The film follows an exploration team led by Charles Atkin and Greg Collinson as they attempt to discover the lost city of Atlantis. After recovering a lost artifact from the ancient culture in the form of a gigantic statue, the team is double-crossed by their opportunistic crew, whose lust for treasure sparks a mutinous turn of events. To make matters worse, at the same instance of the mutiny, their ship is simultaneously attacked by a sea monster, plunging all on board into the ocean depths, where they are spit out into an underground cavern that opens up to reveal an entire other world filled with danger and adventure. Lost in an unknown world and greeted by a controlling alien race that thirsts for world domination, the crew must band together in order to thwart their plans while at the same time figure a way out of this crazy, mixed-up world and back to the surface. If anyone can do it, Doug McClure can. Doug McClure plays the role of Greg Collinson, the creator of the underwater device that allows them to traverse the depths of the Atlantic Ocean in search of any remnants of the lost civilization of Atlantis. McClure, as usual, handles the material with ease, as he gives another outstanding and entertaining performance along the lines of his other fantasy entries, like The Land That Time Forgot, At the Earth's Core, and The People That Time Forgot, with Warlords of Atlantis being his last foray into the adventure fantasy genre. McClure makes good use of his experience as he gives a great deal of respectability to the film, while unleashing his unabashed wit and energetic charm. As for the general look of the underground world of Atlantis, the production gravitates to epic proportions, with diverse displays of grandeur, while accomplishing this larger-than-life feat in the simplest of ways. We're privy to expansive cavernous halls, foreboding beast-infested swamps, grand-scaled fortresses, and extravagant palace chambers filled with beautiful people and decadent fountains, all through traditional filmmaking techniques like matte paintings and oversized sets which give the film a tangible feel. There's a honed stylistic presentation to all of the different locations of the movie, allowing for us to familiarize ourselves with the culture that built these uncharted wonders while giving the entire look of the film a continuous visual appearance that tells the history of its people through imaginative imagery. If there's one thing to be said for the overall look of the movie and the world that it has created, it would be that it is genuine in its portrayal of a lost and savage civilization. The same can be said for the film's robust and creatively imagined creatures. Though there isn't a great deal of variety between the monstrosities that attempt to devour our poor cast of adventurers, the few that do appear on screen make a lasting impression. From a gigantic oversized octopus to a herd of large rock-like four-legged monsters, to a frighteningly vicious man-eating swamp creature, to the ridiculous concept of flying ravenous fish, the film has its fair share of nightmares to fling at our main players. What's really great about all of these creations is that they are all done in practical ways through the use of puppetry and other similar techniques, making the movie dated yet authentic to the world the filmmakers have set up. Unlike modern computer-generated movie monsters, these beasts have a sense of weight to them, and they actually give the impression that they share the same plane that their real-life actors do, even though they are performing in front of projections. All in all, the effects work might be crude by today's standards, but the overall end result is as practical and genuine as needs to be for a fun film such as this one. Warlords of Atlantis is an enjoyable fantasy adventure outing that captures the nostalgic magic that these films are known to cast upon their audience, and simply runs with it to the bitter end. Not only that, but the ambitious nature of the movie doesn't go without notice, even by the most ornery of movie snobs. With a stellar cast that does more than an excellent job with the material, the film world becomes an excellent playground for these characters to just have a blast in. Not only does Doug McClure and cast carry the story along with great effect, but the film also moves at a tremendous pace as it shows us all that this wonderful new world has to offer. From lavish sets to detailed matte paintings to wonderful creature designs, the film has a substantial amount of creative input behind it that wholly shows as the movie begins to unwind. As an adventure movie, the film is fantastic, and the inclusion of Doug McClure is only icing on the cake. If you're in the mood to get lost in a world that is filled to the brim with outlandish creatures and equally immersive vistas, then hunt down this obscure gem and give it a watch. Warlords of Atlantis is a great adventure. And there is Warlords of Atlantis. Just absolute fun, and Doug McClure makes this movie that much more enjoyable. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that one because it's a little guilty pleasure of mine. But that's it for me today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you like what I'm doing here. If you do, please like and subscribe. And if you have time, please leave a comment below because I'd love to hear from you. But until then, I will see you guys at the next movie review. Take care.